Welcome back, troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today I thought we would talk about this great little tool that Gibson invented. I think it was about a year or so ago now, that they deem the Gibson Multi-tool. This little piece of compact equipment is essentially the equivalent to the Swiss Army knife of guitar setups. It doesn't have absolutely everything you would need, but it has pretty much the bulk majority of the small stuff that not everybody always has on them. So let's go ahead and take a closer look here. Once the tool is opened up, there are two sides to it. The first side here contains a 5/16 inch truss rod adjustment tool, which is great for your Gibson. A 4mm slotted screwdriver, so that's your flathead one, which you don't always have handy when you need one. The next three tools are hex keys, or Allen wrenches as they're sometimes called. We have an 1/8 inch, 1/16 inch, and a 5/100 of an inch one. But what is this thing? Is it just a lever that keeps all these in place when it's folded up? That's what I thought, but I had to do some research. I never realized this. This is an action adjustment guide. What you're supposed to do is put this down at the 12th fret, and if you look really closely here, you can see some laser engravings here that mark 3/64 of an inch and 5/64 of an inch, and that's supposed to help you set your action at the 12th fret. That's ingenious. All this time I thought it was just worthless, or maybe you could use it as a bottle opener, and if that doesn't work, maybe you could use this end. So multiple uses on that thing. The next side contains 4 more hex keys. You have the 1.5mm, the 2mm, 2.5, and 3. So that's what's really nice about this tool, is it keeps all your Allen keys and hex keys in one place, because sometimes when you're doing setups, you need all of these depending on the guitar you're doing. If you have like a locking nut, or if you have a locking bridge, it's just nice to have them all in one place. And the final two things are Phillips screwdrivers. You have a number 1 and number 2. So once again, you can always have the exact size you need, so you're not stripping the screw heads. So this is a beautiful piece of equipment that Gibson has been including with many high-end new guitars. These have pretty much been replacing these old truss rod adjustment tools. But is this tool perfect? Does it replace all of these items on my tool bench? No. And here's why. While this tool is awesome because it has everything, I find that these hex keys are actually kind of hard to use. We'll use this one for example, because this is the one you have to use to get a locking bridge off. And if you've ever had to do that task with this big clunky thing, you'll know what I'm talking about here. Look at your leverage point here. You can't really turn this while it is on a guitar. And that's when an original hex key that has this L shape in it will really come in handy, and why these aren't perfect. Now if you heat these up, you might be able to bend them, and then you would have an awesome tool, but that's the one con to these just being straight. The screwdriver bits are pretty good. You've got pretty good leverage here, but as you turn it around, due to the placement of this, it kind of feels awkward to do it. I think a better design choice would have been to have this be the middle piece, or at least closer to it. That way when you're spinning this around, it is more centered and it feels a little bit better to use. That's why I never use the screwdriver portion of these, because I just prefer a traditional one on my workbench. The string action guide, obviously it can't replace this thing simply because this has a lot more information and readings on it. So in the end, is this the end-all be-all of tools? Can you throw everything else away on your workbench? No. I think what these are perfect for is just being either a starter kit for somebody who doesn't have all that other stuff. It's cheaper and easier to understand to buy one of these for $20 than go out hunting for all these different tools. But here's what can't be beat. This fits in your pocket. It's easy to take to a guitar show. It's easy to take to your next guitar deal. This has everything you could possibly need on it, and I think that's its main function here. So if I were to give this a star rating, I would probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. It's nice and compact. The tools on it are usable, but not perfect. I would still prefer the traditional tools, but you can bet I always have one of these in my pocket for a guitar show. And I do find myself picking this up from time to time on my workbench, just because, it's easier to find exactly what you need. So I would heavily recommend checking one of these out. I hope you troglodytes enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.